So now, patch 24 definitely had a lot of stuff. So anybody that's gone through any of these other patch notes in the past with me, what I normally do is print them out. I'll take a quick glance at them. I might take a couple notes here and there. It's actually the first time I kind of just went through it live on stream and didn't really see any of it besides the the updates. Because I got up to here, just don't survive, and I didn't read anything else. I saw that I didn't have to care about hunger or thirst, and then I stopped reading, and I'm like, all right, tonight on stream, I'm going over this. It's a surprise update. It's a surprise stream. So we have the Steel Dawn update. For the highlights, it says, Ad Victoriam. The Brotherhood of Steel is back. Explore the first chapter of their story, meet new characters, visit new and updated locations, and unlock rewards as you experience the all-new Steel Dawn questline. Head underground. Flex those creative muscles by building out your own very own instance interiors with our first 3 camp shelters. Gear up. Complete Steel Dawn quest and take on daily ops to earn new weapons and armor straight from the Brotherhood arsenal. I'm excited for that. And then don't just survive, thrive. I only saw the updates before actually going into any of this. Like I saw these and I was like, I need to go over this all together in one shot. But when I saw this, we removed all negative effects from hunger and thirst. We'll receive buffs instead and increased based on how well fed and hydrated you are. So that's going to be big news for me. I've been using the survival syringe kind of as a cure to my in-game laziness, keeping up with my character. It's been a cure for that, but now I'm thinking if it doesn't matter as much, sure, the bonuses at a glance I can imagine be nice, but I could also stop using the survival syringe perk and then use something else into the build and maybe get some more DPS or survivability. More on that later, though, but I'm excited for that. And then save those atoms. Already have some of the items in an Atomic Shop bundle? No problem. Bundle prices now lower automatically if you already own any items they contain. That's also big news, too, because I feel like for a bit, the community was mentioning something like this, so they are listening. Now we have the new Steel Dawn questline. Brotherhood of Steel has returned to Appalachia on a mission to reclaim the region for humanity, to preserve any tech they can find, and to find out what befell Paladin Taggarty and her crew. Starting today, you can begin your journey with the Brotherhood of Steel and work toward a brighter future for Appalachia in an all-new Steel Dawn questline. Complete new quest, meet the new Brotherhood arrivals, and begin your journey through the Steel Dawn questline by heading to Fort Atlas, formerly Atlas Observatory, which is going to be actually very awesome to see our progress as the dome takes shape, and you see some of that in the loading screen before you even get into the game. But now we have a reason to go back to Savage Divide, revisit that. Your level 20 plus character can begin the questline, so a lot of us will be able to jump into this right away. When you log in with an eligible character, a quest called Welcome to the Neighborhood will prompt, so that's good. And now you can also fast travel to Fort Atlas for free. Okay, so if we're going to start adding more fast travel places for free, can we just make like White Spring Station for free? Can that just be like my personal request, please? But however, if you already discovered Atlas Observatory before today's update, its icon will no longer be visible on your map. Okay, so you just got to update it. You need to revisit the area. Yep, okay, gotcha. Meet new faces, get acquainted with new characters like Paladin, Ramini, Knight Shin, and Scribe Valdez, and many others who have arrived in Appalachia with the Steel Dawn update. Explore new locations. We've added several new locations and updated a number of existing ones that you'll delve into your journey with the Brotherhood. So I want to keep an eye on content over time and see how much they actually add. I mean, other major updates, adding more to Watoga Underground, things like that. I want to see how much they kind of cram interior cells into the game, or if the idea of expanding to the outskirts of the map could be something. I've always kind of wondered since the beginning of the game So like, let's say 2 years in, and even before the 2 year mark, we saw, NPCs return. We saw a big shift in updated areas. Unless you were looking at PTS stuff, you aren't actually familiar with, let's say, the new stuff they've implemented into the game just yet. So we'll see that soon when the servers are live. But over these past 2 years, I wonder, are we going to start going to the outskirts of the map? Are we going to expand and travel north to the spots that we weren't able to before? Is that something that we can look into? Just kind of food for thought. Okay, so it also says gear up with new rewards, progress through Steel Dawn questline, and complete daily ops to earn a host of cosmetic camp and item rewards, including the following new weapons and armor straight from the Brotherhood arsenal: the Crusader pistol, plasma cutter, Hellstorm missile launcher, Brotherhood recon armor, and then it says you can purchase a variety of mods for these new items from Regs and 79. So okay, we get some more stuff, and they're gonna change the elemental damage, kind of like what we saw in the Warglaive, I guess. Hellstorm missile launcher kind of sounds interesting, but I feel like even on my heavy guns character, I don't want to use missile launchers inherently. But plasma cutter, I'll mess with. Crusader pistol, I'm still kind of debating on that. The recon armor, I will have to look into. Now this is the big one. This is the one that I want to jump into kind of right away, and then trickle out the other content over time. I know there's a few of us looking at it like, if you are end game players or if you're mid game players, how long will it take you to kind of go through this content? Will you fly through it in, a matter of sessions, a week? It's the case. If you're a newer player to the game, obviously you need to be at least level 20, so that in itself could be a little bit more time consuming. You're not going to fly through stuff. So there's a huge gap, which I always try to take a look at. And with this new kind of quest line, I'll probably try to mix it in with, let's say, daily routines as it gets released. And I do want to see what that content definitely entails, though. But back to camp shelters. Get underground with camp shelters, which are instance interiors that you can add to your camp and customize to flex your creativity as a builder. This interests me, and I already want the largest one. I know we're getting the smallest one possible. Please, can we have the medium one right away? Thank you. And then follow that with the large. We've added a brief new quest called Home Expansion to the game that all players must complete in order to gain access. So wait a second. Home Expansion. Is this the equivalent on ESO? Is it not the same name, if I'm not mistaken? I think I heard a similar name for it. But begin the home expansion quest by reading a shelter's claim center post in train stations throughout Appalachia. Find your way inside the claim center by locating a key. The northern... Okay, so we need to just straight up highlight this right here, and we're just going to leave that highlighted. For today's update, we're introducing our first 3 camp shelters. Yep. Each offer a different size space to build. Okay, Oh, just straight to the big one, please. Vault Utility Room. After completing the home expansion quest, all players can claim the Vault Utility Room for free in the Atomic Shop. Okay. And then it says, since we decided to release Steel Dawn early, only the Vault Utility Room will be available November 24th. The Vault Lobby and Atrium described below will arrive at a later date. Oh, damn. My heart's broken in one line of text. All right, so there will be no... I'm going to just get it ready, but I'm not going to be able to flex my creativity, as they say. So now we have also Fallout First members can claim this medium-sized shelter this month in the Fallout First section of the Atomic Shop. In the future, will be available to all players for atoms. Once you've claimed the camp shelter, the Vault Atrium can be purchased using atoms. Once you've claimed the camp shelter, you can access its interior by building the associated shelter entrance in your camp. And then it also is mentioning your camp can contain one of each type of shelter you own. You can build multiple entrances to the same shelter. Okay, so I'm going to have a little bit of a mix and match, which is going from, I guess, one to the next, but let's see. And then you can browse the different entrances. I'm already getting ideas to flex my creativity, as they say. Every shelter has its own build budget that is separate from your main camp, as well as any other shelters you've built. Okay, so kind of each one Gonna have a little bit of time to mess with. Okay, got it. I was actually kind of worried that each of the shelters would have a shared budget, but I did not know that till now. But it says move your shelter entrance, or if your entrances get destroyed, you won't lose anything. Since they're instance, shelters are able to offer sizable build budgets. Currently, each of the first three shelters have larger budgets than your main camp. So I don't know how much bigger of a budget that's going to be. Just starting off on a flat surface and then being able to just build walls straight off of that is going to be big budget saver, right? Not using foundations, things like that. We've relaxed certain build restrictions inside shelters by introducing a toggle snapping option that if you turn off to place objects anywhere you like to turn, okay. Nice, okay. So that's definitely going to help being a little bit more creative in terms of like placing stuff in your base. Shelter controls panels, okay. I want to keep an eye on some of this. This actually, again, is going to let you be more flexible with stuff and placing things, and it has to actually snap to a grid or not. For design updates, dynamic bundle pricing. So again, that at a glance before I was happy to see. Common suggestion, yeah, look, perfect. Exactly what I was mentioning with getting feedback from the community. A common suggestion we've received from the Atomic Shop aficionados has been to reduce bundle prices for players who already own some of the items it contain. Yes, I've even mentioned that while browsing certain items that kind of drive me to get the bundle because I'm like, all right, I might as well get this. But with today's update, we've adding pricing tech that'll do just that. Going forward, if you own one or more of the items in the bundle, its item price will automatically reduce accordingly. For items you already have below, yeah. So in the end, if I'm like, oh, I actually wanted that, I don't know, outfit that bundle came with. I see a lot of people using it. I never got it the first time, but I got the other stuff. Then maybe you might be coerced into getting the rest of the bundle. It's going to be an easy way to sucker me into probably spending more atoms than I need to, but in any case. And then bundles that you've already adjusted this way will now display your price versus the original price. Will be marked in each description. Okay. Convenient. Pretty easy to see too. That's good. Some backpack flair is part of the additional Atom Shop updates. Add even more personality to your characters with backpack flair. We've added 2 backpack flair slots to the modify menu for backpacks that. Is this like a keychain I'm putting? Like, Call of Duty started this and now we're adding it to Fallout? If I acquire things over time, I'll put them up. I don't think I'm going to spend atoms on this unless these things end up in a bundle. I tend to avoid these types of purchasables, if you will, on online games. So let's see. It has to be very convincing. I don't know. I feel like I say this now, and then it's going to give me like the Merg McGurg, keychain, and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to get it. It's going to give me good luck when I go to the purveyor. Mark my words. So that's something we'll have to look forward to, I suppose. While the backpack flares system is live as of November 24th, flares themselves are not yet available. We'll let you know as soon as we add them at a later date. All right, so I imagine that being within the next, so many weeks as well. Lunchboxes. In addition to earning lunchbox rewards from a seasonal scoreboard or buying them with gold bullion in-game, you can now purchase them for 150 atoms each in the Atomic Shop. Okay. I like that we just kind of don't even need to go to regs or anything like that. Lunchbox buff descriptions and the chance to receive buff. Each buff has been added to the lunchbox section. Okay. So you can kind of go through each one too and know what you're getting yourself into if you've never used them before, I guess. As opposed to going to like a Scorch Beast Queen and then there's like 8 of them used all at once and then everybody's at 100% buff as of, 4 previous and they all have like the different bonuses. All I want to know is like, can we please get Confetti Mess as like a separate thing? Because I will throw atoms at that. If we can just get a permanent Confetti Mess skin that somehow, if it needs to be part of Bloody Mess and it's like actually a perk or something, I don't know. Please, can we do this? Because I just want exploding confetti corpses. For daily ops, new items, we've added a number of new rare rewards that you can earn by completing daily ops. I still need to get the symptomatic plan. I have everything else but that. And now we're moving on to the next ones. So that item will probably be rarer to me over time, but I'm excited to see that. They included plans to craft Brotherhood Recon armor, the Crusader pistol, plasma. Okay, this is how you get that. All right, got it. Plan rewards. Say goodbye to duplicate plans. Non-tradable item plans that can be awarded by daily ops, like the Warglaive, will no longer continue to drop. Yes, as rewards after you learn. So I unfortunately have already dropped at least 3 Warglaives on my one character, and I think I've been lucky at not acquiring any more. But my one character basically got it, learned it. A couple runs later, got another Warglaive. A couple runs after that, got another Warglaive. So this should ensure that I can, actually get what I need and not keep getting non-tradable plans. I'm gonna be like, are you sure you want to drop this? Yes, I've learned it. Why else would I want this? Mutations and enemies. To help keep daily ops feeling fresh each day, we've made an adjustment to prevent the same enemy mutation and faction from appearing 2 days in a row. That's a huge clap because did we not just get 2 days in a row of resilient robots on top of us, like a month ago, a few weeks back, whenever it was, that we got like 3, 4, maybe even 5 days of that in a row? Clearly that is frustrating people more than any other combo. I don't think anybody's complaining about having any other combo multiple days in a row. I think the fact that the resilient robot thing and pea shooter gutsies exist and can melt any character build or anything like that is the larger conversation that the community is trying to have. Thank you for adjusting that, but please look further into the conversation, Bethesda, because pea shooter gutsies nobody likes. Moving on. And now this is big. This is feeding into me being lazy, maybe pun intended. Hunger and Thirst update. We agree with the feedback from the community that our Hunger and Thirst mechanics could feel a little too pushy. We've decided to remove the negative effects when you're hungry or thirsty and buff up the bonuses you receive when you're fed and hydrated. So right away that makes me think, okay, should I actually start using the other perk that gives you bonuses? I think it's like an AP bonus, maybe an endurance bonus. I have to double check what the perks are, but I used that for a bit, but then couldn't justify keeping that perk over others. So this is the point where, like, do I stop being lazy and actually keep my character hunger and fed outside of Survival Syringe? Another thing I'm gonna have to mess with. But going forward, your action points, health, and disease resistance will no longer be negatively affected when you haven't had anything to eat or drink recently. Amazing. One of my characters is not ever gonna eat or drink again, ever. Instead, you'll receive buffs that increase depending on how full your hunger and thirst meters are. And now they're breaking it down as hunger gain up to, I guess, plus 15 max HP when partially fed, up to, okay, 35. And then the disease resist, 35%, and 1 strength when fully fed. So it's just, there's 2 things. If you can at least be a little bit, you'll get a little bit of a bonus for HP. If you get a little bit more for your hunger, you'll get better stuff in the strength. That sounds nice. Thirst gain 15% AP regen when partially hydrated and up to 35 AP regen. Additional disease resist again, and the 1 endurance when fully hydrated. That sounds nice. That might shake me out of being lazy with keeping up with my character. I guess I'll keep the survival syringe because that'll just ensure that I basically always have these bonuses going. I might have to look into, I think it's an endurance perk. It could even be called well-fed or something like that. I have to check, but maybe this is a reason for me to keep up with my character a little bit more. PvP pacifist mode. When pacifist mode becomes available to a new character's level 5, it will now be toggled on by default. I imagine like how many people are like, oh, I'm level 5. Oh, what's this? Somebody can attack me. They wave to a random, and then they get attacked now. I feel like more times than not, you run into better situations. And then for UI, map added a fast travel point map marker for Vault 51. Bug fixes. The Settler Forager, oh boy, Gramps is always having problems. Players can once again receive daily... I feel like they said this in the last one. Arts and graphics, animations, human NPCs that have both legs crippled can no longer appear to fall down and then immediately stand back up. Instead, they will remain standing, but they will remain immobile until one leg is healed. Never noticed that. Power armor. Players' posteriors are now properly protected while wearing Enclave power armor. There you go. Keep an eye out for the posteriors. Weapons turbo furt. The grenades no longer appear to explode twice on detonation. Then other weapons, charging up the Gauss pistol and then holstering it no longer causes a small portion of the weapon model to disappear. Interesting. If we can talk about arts and animation, I think the Gamma Gun still could use a little bit of a work slash reduction in controller vibration and other planes if we're going to maybe revisit anything. Camp and workshops, general grass and small plants are once again visually removed when placing foundations and other large camp objects on top of them. Okay. There's been a couple weird things where it'll remove stuff, but if you leave and come back, you might have a tree in the middle of your base. So this is maybe fixing that. Brotherhood Field Station closed up a hole in the field station ceiling. Didn't even notice. Core players can now build powered lawn flamingos without having learned the base lawn flamingo plan. Core players can now build power lawn. Oh yeah, I drew that. Encampment bridge fixed an issue that could allow encampment bridge pieces to remain floating in midair after removing connecting pieces. So I've heard a couple complaints about the bridges having problems with, like certain people have problems, other people have not. I do hope this kind of fixes that, versus maybe fixing some of that. For the fence, for the encampment fence, it now spins at its center point when rotating the object in its build mode, and now explosion visual effects also appear at its center point when the fence is destroyed. No idea. Multiple exploits, wow. Traps now have a minimum distance that they can be placed from other traps, camps, and blueprints containing traps that are stacked on top of each other. It can no longer be placed. What? No idea. Address the camp budget exploit related to wires. No idea. Address an item exploit related to collectron stations. Oh boy, somebody like having just like a bunch of collectrons all at once or something, and it's just getting like infinite items. Rocket rides can no longer be placed clipping into other objects. And now the super reactor now scraps into aluminum, copper, and rubber instead of just rubber. Okay, so making that, I guess, a little more realistic. Combat explosion damage. Fix an issue that caused non-physical explosions from weapons, like floater grenades, to deal less damage than intended. Got it. So maybe that's supposed to make them a little bit more viable? A lot of VATS stuff I'm seeing here. Greatly improves the accuracy of chance to hit percentages when using VATS. Okay. Hits that successfully strike the target now deal damage correctly. Is this a buff I'm seeing here? Hold on. Fix an issue that could cause VATS to close when a line of sight of the target enemy became partially obstructed. Okay, so hold on. I feel like I've run into this issue right here, but I do the complete opposite half the time. Where like if I'm in West Tech and I see a super mutant and I can run around a wall, I will run around the wall, see 95%, and shoot a couple bullets through the wall. And I know that I can successfully do that. What they're doing is like fixing the opposite, which I'm okay with, I guess, still shooting through walls apparently. Fix an issue that could cause VATS. Oh yeah, got that. Continuing to fire a flamer or cryolator after closing VATS no longer stops those weapons from damaging enemies. And then corrected the damage dealt when firing the test rifle and uncharged Gauss weapons in VATS. Didn't know either of those was an issue. Continuing to fire a flamer after closing VATS stops those weapons from damaging enemies. I feel like I heard the certain flamers with the right combos could have been OP. I never used them. And then of the people that I know use them, use explosive versions of them. I don't have a non, let's say legacy way to compare that. But all right, looks like from the first few, that's some fixes. Daily Ops, contextual ammo. Enemies in Daily Ops now correctly drop shotgun shells when using the fancy shotgun. Okay, bosses. Daily Ops bosses no longer sometimes swap their unique weapons for weapons from nearby corpses. I've never run into that. Out of all times we've run those Daily Ops, I've always, whatever creature has whatever, weapon, it's been fine. The Super Mutant Daily Ops boss is no longer disarmed after being staggered. Didn't know that was happening. Operation report, after achieving Paladin tier or higher, the rewards list in the operation report now correctly includes both of the player's legendary item rewards. Okay. And then fixed an issue causing certain doors in 94 to display a button prompt without any text. Enemies, Blood Eagles can no longer be turned into Scorched Blood Eagles A scorched beast. Oh, damn. I missed this. That kind of sounds interesting. So like any creature turning scorched has like a, very feral form. Um, is a scorched blood eagle just the name change and that's it, and nothing really changes, or maybe they get stronger and that's it? Because I don't think their appearance would change. Everything else has like a, I don't even know, like a irradiated kind of shaved down state. Earl Williams can no longer turn into an ash pile or goo pile on death, nor dismembered by the bloody mess perk. Yeah, that was a problem a couple times. Scorch Beast Queen no longer clips into terrain during her strafe attack. Okay. Items. For apparel, it fixed several instances where Enclave Under Armor could clip through different apparel, like the bomber jacket. The pint-sized slasher outfit. Okay. Some other armor things we have here. So now it says sturdy and heavy metal left leg armor can now drop as legendary items. Okay. That's a little bit more defense in terms of metal things that can drop. Let's say players can now correctly remove miscellaneous mods from armor pieces. Secret Service armor with weightless legendary attribute can no longer what? Counteracts cloaking granted by chameleon mutation. No idea that was a problem. Gamma gun. Oh, I was mentioning this earlier. Firing rapidly no longer sometimes causes the gamma gun to fire more rounds than the magazine contains. I wonder if that is causing the gun to freak out after it's been fired. The Gauss minigun. Crosshair no longer persists on top of the Gauss minigun sights. Other things can no longer with the... Oh, shit. Gauss shotgun can no longer spawn with the explosive legendary effect. So anybody that got one of these, have fun. That is your legacy. That's something I missed out on. Heavy weapons. The Cryolator now correctly deals cryo damage, and the Flamer deals fire damage. Uh, Weapons that have heated mods. Okay, so I think like the Super Sledge with the heated or something like that, right? Let's say a melee weapon will actually give you fire damage. I guess this has been a mix of things that they've been working on. Now they're working on like whether it's the floater grenades, and now we have fire and cryo being applied correctly. I do hope one of the next elemental kind of things we talk about is poison, because poison still stacks way too much. And if a Mylar Queen, spits some acid in your face a couple times, you just get melted. And not enough stims in the world could heal you. For mods, now we have a few weapons that have, oh yeah, read that. The refrigerator mod backpack now reduces food spoilage rates by 50% instead of 10%. That sounds like big news. Beta armor mods now ignore 5 points of enemy damage resist. So I actually have the weighted mod on a couple of my characters, like arm pieces, and didn't really think it was making a difference. But now it ignores that type of damage resist. Okay. In addition to the 10%. Okay, so that's like a buff right there. That's a nice little melee buff. This will improve situations where weighted mods had very little effect on enemies who already had low damage resist. Got it. So it's like, how can you bypass damage resist? Okay, got it. That's a little bit of a buff. So for somebody like me, I mean, I might not notice it. I'll be happy to get any little buff there. The pump shoddy. Increased pump action shotgun bash damage, so that is in line with the rifles and other shotguns. Okay. Because I don't really know who's... Like, I bash a couple times, but is bash really what shotguns need at this moment? We bring back the old shoddy damage and how it used to be. Saying. For recipes, there's a couple of different updates they have there. For thrown weapons, you're going to deal the correct damage, whether it's cryo, grenades, mine, the floater, the plasma grenades, or the Molotov cocktails. Warglaive, added copper to the Warglaive's crafting requirements and remove the plasma core requirement. Okay. On to mutations. Carnivore, the following items now count as meat when affected by the carnivore mutation. Have this list here, and they do the same thing for herbivore. See that in the patch notes. NPCs, animation. This is a long list, wow. NPCs. Animations corrected a number of issues that could cause various world NPCs to play incorrect animations or temporarily stop animating. Can I please get, like, Ward to be, like, upside down or, on a chair the wrong way? Just please. I know that they've been patching these things, but just randomly encountering some of the weird NPC bugs is, like, the best thing to find. Fisher no longer plays an animation as though he is using a terminal when he's not near one. Okay. Overseer no longer sometimes becomes stuck when heading to the presentation room during Overseer Overseen. White Spring, Sentry Bots, and Doorman Protectrons now respond properly when players interact with them. Performance and stability. This is the one I need to see every time. Even if it's like a little bit of a boost of any sort that they can still stamp these. Client stability, server performance, service stability, performance, all these things. Client crashes that I'm looking at here. Receiving errors when joining daily ops. Server crash when joining into a world. So I had just straight console crash a couple of times. When I was joining a world, and it crashed my game entirely. Within the past so many weeks, let's say it's been maybe 2-3 times that it happened to me. I'm not sure about others in the community, but that's just yet that's been fixed. That's an issue that could result in performance drop when viewing the seasonal scoreboard. Here we go. Performance drop. I didn't have really performance drop this season, but if you were to go through and see my season 1, the legendary run, my 100 score claiming video, there was a huge performance drop. But this second one that I just kind of finished, not really the same thing at all. So that's awesome. Because that was not good. That was a little rough to go across the screen. Some perks that they fixed. Nerd Rage is the first thing I saw. I didn't even look at the other ones. Fix an issue causing Nerd Rage to grant its damage bonus while above 20% health. I heard somebody mentioning this. I didn't notice it helping me at all. Also, I don't really chill above 20% health, so affecting me. And then a couple other updates here between Animal Friend, Chem Fiend, and Wasteland Whisper. And now onto the quests and events. Thicker Than Water from the allies, Watoga Underground is now properly instant. Defend, you have Billings Homestead, and now enemies can't get stuck while going through that. Free range, beefed up Brahmin health, and resistances during the free range event. Alright, I mean, I enjoyed running free range when it first came out, and even after free range came out and like double XP came out around, I think right after that, if I remember correctly, I remember enjoying going to free range and killing the Brahmin and everything there just for like soaking up some XP. A couple times it was like, oh man, if they were just a little bit beefier, they would have survived, no pun intended there. But I don't know if that's going to be enough for me to actually run free range anymore. I don't know. If they can guarantee maybe more 3-star Deep Squatch or something, maybe. Project Paradise. Friendly creatures that appear after completing filling the habitat troughs now have consistent max level of 100. Yeah, I was kind of noticing that recently. It seemed like they were just off. Some, you actually have higher levels, but... And now for Scorched Earth. Now correctly grants a 3-star legendary item reward on completion. Hold on a second. Now correctly grants a 3-star legendary item reward on completion. All right, that's getting a clap for me because so first off, I didn't know that was incorrect. I want everybody to also take note that charisma is supposed to affect your rewards from quests and such. So supposedly, let's just say theoretically you had, not even sure if Daddy-O gives you charisma at this point. Formula P. Formula P I think gives you luck and charisma. So let's say you had that or whatever other thing that you could down real quick for some charisma. I'm curious to know if we can start testing that out right before the Scorch Beast Queen event finishes. Instead of trying to get the event team bonus, maybe you swap to a charisma related thing, a little Shakespeare dude, and maybe that's going to also boost your chances of better items. I mean, it's not going to hurt to test, but just quickly after seeing that, I think we should all see a spike in interest in Scorch Beast Queens. specifically because now this could be much better chance of you getting better legendaries. How many, like the past, at least the past two Scorch Beast Queens that I think I've done on stream have both given me 1 stars. I think the last, and then what, the, the last encrypted? So the encrypted event needs to be the next one because I think the last encrypted event I did, I think it only had a 3-star armor piece or something like that as a reward. So this sounds like quality of life stuff, but if it says now correctly grants a 3-star item reward, um, it's interesting because we're 2 years plus into the game. Um, what about other events? Are they also not giving us the three? Is encrypted because it's kind of in the same category of difficulty? You know, should that be giving you a 3-star? Should the Earl? I mean, I think Earl honestly needs to guarantee you a 3-star. I think Earl is a much more pain kind of going in. I mean, obviously you can do a lot with the right weapons, the right team, the right build, etc. But like, if you just kind of go in, pick up groups, and you just whoever's going in, you're like, hey, let me see what I can do. Good luck. You might be doing like, a ton of damage. You might be going through ammo really quick, and then you might end up with a 1-star. So I don't know. Now that this has happened, let's see if people on the forums and stuff start mentioning like, okay, other things as well. Then we have some sound, some UI, and some world updates as well towards the end here. I'll mention the world pathing. Fix the number of objects in the world that players could path through or clip into. And then for pathing again, fix several locations throughout the world where players could become stuck. So I am happy that this dropped today, whatever the reason is. I'm not going to look too much into what happened and whatnot. I will say being this dropped early and we're going to see a couple of things dropping after the fact. It is what it is. I'm not going to look too much into it. I will say when it comes to the camp shelters, I am very excited to mess with that again when that becomes available. That was kind of a slap in the face for me because I kind of went in tonight thinking, oh, camp shelters. No, stop that. No camp shelters for you.